Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsy69 and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to look at the Jagdtiger. The Jagdtiger is one of the highest DPM tanks in the game, almost 4,000. It's absolutely insane. It was the highest DPM tank until the SU-122-54 came and took the crown of that title. So is it any good? Is the tank any good? I mean, it's a nice tank. It is a good tank, but basically all this tank has got for going for it is that DPM. It's really slow. It's the armor profile, hold down, it's not bad, it's okay, but as soon as people switch to premium ammunition, they're going to go through you like butter. So the DPM is literally all, in my opinion anyway, playing it, I'm experienced in it, I like the tank. So in my experience, the only thing that is going for it is that DPM. So you need to make it work. You need to make the DPM work. If you're not getting your shots out, you're not doing your job properly. Now we've got a minute and a bit gone, and so far this guy, he's done 0 damage. There's not been too many shots to take, but is now in a position where he's actually in the middle of the map. I'm not quite sure if that is the best position for a Jagdtiger, but this kind of map, he has his team around, he has a platoon mate around, so he should be pretty safe here. He's got hard cover, he's got a rock in front of him, which he is going to bounce some damage, and he's got buildings all around. So it's going to be very difficult for any medium tank, even though there's only one medium tank. So it's going to be very difficult for anyone to be able to sort of circle this guy. The DPM is, as I've said, really good. The armor is okay. The accuracy is okay. It's not nothing too spectacular, but it's all right. Aim time, again, nothing spectacular, but it's quite good for a TD. And the accuracy is all right. I've said that. The gun depression is okay as well. So if you can get on a ridge and use that gun depression, you will get yourself some bounces from the turret. But you have to use the gun. You have to use the gun. The gun, it's all about, this tank is all about DPM. For me, this tank is best sat at the back of the map. And I don't want people to go out and just literally sit at the back of the map and do nothing. But a tank like this, if you get something like Canal or Dead Rail, you could have an absolute field day in this tank. If everything goes to plan, you could have an absolute field day. Now we have got 2 battles. We've got the rest of this battle and we've got the next battle, which the next battle we are going to actually talk about the battle. We're going to talk about the tank this game, and then we're going to talk about the battle next game. Now, for me, there was no rush in grinding this tank, because I actually do prefer this tank than the JG Panzer E100, the Jaegeru, as some will call it, like myself. So for me, there's no rush. You're going from DPM to pretty much a big, massive derp gun. So I wouldn't rush grinding the Jaegeru. This is probably a lot more fun to play if everything goes your way. Sometimes obviously things don't go your way, the team don't go where you want them to be. You might get caught out in the open, and you might absolutely get wrecked with pretty much no damage. So if I was you, literally sit behind your team. Don't be front, don't be first line, sit behind your team. Yeah, you're going to get raged at being called a camper, but that is what this tank is best for, is camping at the back, just farming that damage. I mean, 7.8 seconds reload is such a good reload for a tank destroyer. Very good reload. So use that, use it wisely. And some people forget that this tank has got such DPM. So you could do those kind of bait shots there, like he's just done with the E75, and then they seem to forget. They sort of repair themselves, and then they do what the E75 is doing now in sort of rushing towards him, where the E75 will be best not coming in front of a gun like this. You need to get behind him. Even with the E75, you can still get behind a Jagdtiger and pretty much circle him. But he's just got himself into an awful position in front of the gun, which is where you don't want to be. Our guy Zimblu has actually managed to bounce 1800 damage as well, so pretty good going. It finishes with 6.7k damage. This was recorded quite a while ago, in November. I recorded this in November, so I do apologize for Zimblu for not using this replay sooner. I just haven't got round to making a Jagdtiger video, to be honest, but I thought, you know what, now's the time to be making it. Next up we have Chitanda, or Chitanda. Now, as I've said, dead route, perfect map, and we're gonna see just why this is a perfect map. And now, of course, when you're in a TD on this map, especially when it's encounter, not supremacy, there's only one place, two places really, to go in a TD, and that's sit by spawn or sit in this bush up here. Every TD sits in this bush. Now, it's a good situation for this guy because there's only 2 TDs. Normally when I get this map in a TD, there's like three other freaking TDs, and it's so annoying because the first place they go to is this place. It's a good place, but it's not a good place when there's 2 or 3 of you sat in the same spot. So he's actually got shots off, and what he's doing now is he is getting shots off, backing up. He does get spotted, and unfortunately there is a medium tank, and because his team have, I mean, GG Sheridan, GG. There's a new TD in town, guys. It is the Sheridan. Stupid position, but that's what's frustrating when a tank like the Sheridan is sat there in a TD spot, because you don't want to sit there then, because you're useless. So our guy has decided, you know what, I'm going to push a little bit forward, and as he pushes forward, he is going to get a shot on the grill. Nice little roll there. He could have probably had time to use the HE, but you know, he's going for the AP, doesn't want to risk hitting the gun from this distance, which is really possible from this distance. There goes the E50, so they need to clear this. He's got a couple of blind shots there on that grill, brings him down to a 1 shot, and of course he does now take him out. Now, the best thing for him to do now is to get behind these 2 heavies, get behind the mouse, get behind the IS-7, and just farm and help his heavies, because they need to be quick before the medium tanks on the enemy team just rush around. So he's going to do that. He's actually going to get himself in a good position, so these tanks don't actually want to look at him. They're looking at the tanks in front. The mouse does turn around, but then he sort of bit too late, and he manages to get out, and because he gets out, he can now straight away get back into the same position and then just farm the mouse once again. And that's the kind of thing this tank can do. When tanks are not looking at you, you can really farm damage. I mean, the penetration on the APCR there, absolutely perfect. You can pen anywhere on the mouse. Amarak, come on, Amarak, we want an Amarak. No, it's not going to happen, I'm afraid. So it's now a 5 versus 5. The IS-7 is a 1 shot, and again, very unlucky bounce there, very unlucky. The IS-4 bounces as well, and hopefully he'll be able to take him out. This go for his 3rd kill, bringing it now down to a 4 versus 4. But there's 3 quick tanks. There's still a VK there. Nice shot there on the VK to bring his damage up to 4.2. In fact, it's probably getting onto the 5k because he's got the blind shots in on the grill. But when you've got 2 mediums and a light tank left, it's not the best situation to be in when you're in a Jagdtiger. As I've said, you've got no mobility, you've got no traverse, you've got pretty much nothing. And when you've got a Sheridan on your team just sat still at the back, he hasn't moved all freaking battle at all. So he needs to do something, but he needs to be very careful. He's still got the hit points. He can take a few shots, but taking a shot from that VK will dramatically reduce his hit points. He's trying to get this shot off. He keeps bouncing. There's another bounce or a miss I didn't quite see. God knows what this Sheridan is doing. Absolutely, he has no freaking idea how to play the game. And now is where we start getting the medium tanks flank around, which is not the greatest of things to happen when you're in a Jagdtiger. You just want to be sat at the back farming damage without getting spotted. So it's a 4-on-4. There is a couple of low hit point tanks. Again, he still needs to be careful, because if a tank now comes up behind him, he's going to be a little bit screwed, especially as his team is pushing to the left side. And here comes a missile tank. He's going to get a nice bounce. As I said, you can bounce on this tank, but I wouldn't rely on the bounces. I mean, the bottom plate is really weak. But when you're wiggling, you can get bounces. You can get bounces. So sometimes people will have to shoot pramo. If you are hold down, people will have to shoot pramo at you. They will pen you, but of course they're reducing the DPM of their tanks. And he's actually farming these guys here. He's controlling a medium tank and a light tank. He's brought them both down to a 1 shot each. He's lost hardly any hit points against these two. I think he took a shot against the standard B, and that was basically it. And he's now single-handedly on his own. He's bounced 2,400 damage, which is incredible for this tank. Can he get 7 kills? Will he be able to get 7 kills? Every tank is a 1 shot. No, the standard B is gone. He doesn't deserve that kill. He does not deserve that kill. But still, 5 kills so far, 2.4k block damage. He's on 7.2k, but of course he did have a few blind shots in on that grill, so it actually pushes his damage up just over 8,000 damage. So that is how you want to be playing this tank, sat at the back, farming damage, letting your team spot the tanks, and you just hitting your shots, and then you will succeed in the Jagdtiger. But it's still a nice tank, but it's a very difficult tank to play. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.
With